What up? This is I hope you guys stayed up through the fourth quarter. Because that was fun.
This fourth quarter was much better than the other fourth quarter.
Yeah,
from a couple of games ago.
this was a lot of fun. That was a fun.
They got the
quarter.
message. The bench got the message.
Yeah,
that little circle. You shoot that orange yellow ball through that orange ball, rubber ball through it. Yeah.
You just yeah.
Can't even talk,
I mean, they kept they didn't have the walk of shame back to the bench in the Washington game, but it was close. It was close. Yeah. Tonight they extended the lead. I think it went from 37 to the final, which is 51 friggin' points, Jimmy.
Can we just admire the score? 155 to 104. This is reminiscent. This reminds me, and they're winning in different ways because they're scoring more than the 07-08 team. But that 07-08 team beat the shit out of opponents. They didn't give it. They didn't care.
They didn't score they
didn't score
points a game.
No, I prefaced that.
Right.
But they still beat the hell out of the opponent. They and this Celtics team has now done that over the last two games. These are 2 quarter games. They're over at halftime.
Yeah.
2.5 quarters. Al Horford barely even needed to show up tonight. When he was he didn't need to show up.
Yeah.
So, hey, what do you say about a game like this? I mean, other than
you ever watch the show?
Keep doing all those things.
You ever watch the show Party Down? The Caterers on Showtime with Adam Scott?
No, I haven't.
Are we having fun yet?
Talking about?
That's his catchphase.
Is that a new show or
no? It's funny. It was an older show that was funny as hell. Nobody watched it, and it got canceled, but people loved it. Picked up steam after the fact, and then they rebooted it 12 years later. It's outstanding. You should watch it. It's very funny, incredible cast. Anyway, it's fun. What did we have? We had worry. Look, where are we? We're 4 games into the season, and what are we talking about, Jimmy? Is the bench okay?
Some stupid TV show.
Or the bench is the bench? We're gonna talk about Candy soon too.
We are. We're gonna regroup around. Yeah.
Is the bench isn't good? The ninth guy.
Who's their backup big gonna be?
Yeah, the ninth guy's not that good. Yeah, the clown time is coming. By the way.
No, hey.
I got the Tanguay costume on. Somebody
That's
said.
What we do. Oh God.
With the glasses.
Now that's scary.
With the glasses. I'm sorry if I scared you guys with the glasses. I didn't mean to. Yeah.
No, put the glasses on, John. You literally can't see without these glasses now.
Whatever, Bobby.
Who's Bobby?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, right. Because you can't see.
Because I can't see. It's just for the ad reads. I can't see I can see you. I can read the comments. I can see everything fine. But when the ad reads, I have to pull them up on the screen, and Amit sends me these little teeny things. Oh, everything else I'm fine.
We need to nail the ad read. I'll be honest. Last show's ad read did not go great. Somebody's phone went off in the middle of it. It was a whole ordeal. I had to read the fine print, and I felt like the fine print was all out of sorts. It didn't make sense, but I was reading it, and long story short, we lost a sponsor. We have no sponsor anymore. So
I'm off to a bad start this season.
Yeah. Anyways,
I think I'm doing fine. So
did I lose you? Is he frozen for just me, or somebody tell me if he's frozen for just me or if my computer's screwed up? Amit, are you there? All right. I'm going to pretend that I'm going to act like John is gone and it's just me here. Okay, it's just me. The chat is now saying it's just me. All right, so 155-104. Celtics with a big win tonight. This is a back-to-back absolute massacre performance by the Celtics. I'll read through the stats here. 56% from the field, 57% from 3, 96% from the line, 27 assists, 58 rebounds, 12 turnovers against a Pacers team that's not supposed to be that bad. This is a fringe playoff team. Here I am. Big screen here. I think John probably lost battery. That's my guess. Big win for the not a big win. It was a win that we had expected them to do. The Celtics going into this one minus 11, 11-point favorites. I had a couple of buddies text me wondering if the line was too big. Apparently not. Let me see here. Let me pull up. Where is Jason Tatum? Here he is. Jason Tatum tonight continues on his monster start to this year with 30 points, 9 of 15 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. And again, we've been saying quiet 30 here, quiet 30 there. This guy is quietly going to be averaging 30 points a game this year. It just feels that way. And I do wonder, you know, what Amit's texting me here. John's internet went out, so we're gonna wait and see if we can get John back in here. Meanwhile, I will try to hold the show down for now. But we've got Tatum with another 30-point game, and it does feel like, again, before the season started, you had a lot of talking heads picking him. Not a lot, but you had some picking him as their favorite for the MVP this year. And early on, it feels like that way. And there's a lot of questions going into this season, how the Jays were going to gel or how they were going to interact and work with the new lineup, with Jrue Holiday coming in, Derek White becoming a much more prominent force. And then you have obviously Porzingis in there. And so far, so good. I mean, tonight was an interesting one. If you want to talk about Jaylen Brown's performance, no, it wasn't the 30-something point game from a couple nights ago, but I found it very interesting that 2 nights ago he takes 13 threes and tonight he takes 1. And some people might look at that and say, and maybe try to spin that as a negative thing. I don't. I actually think that's a testament to Jaylen Brown being able to adjust his game and give the game what it needs. And again, yeah, we're kind of talking about 2 quarters here because the Pacers couldn't make this one a game. But 7 of 15 from the field, 16 points. And he only took 1 3-pointer. A game ago, he took 13. And he's finding ways to contribute in other facets, 7 rebounds and 2 turnovers. He had 0 turnovers the game before that. So already off the bat, it feels like we're getting a different Jaylen Brown this year than we got in previous seasons. And maybe that's because he doesn't feel he has to do as much. Certainly he doesn't. And that goes for everybody on this team, or at least in the starting lineup, because of the fact they have so much talent all around it. You have, Tatum, who's still, I would call him the alpha, at least in some capacity. He always has been, and he's still putting together those 30-point games. But you also have Brown now, who has shown that when called upon or when needed, or when he does have the hot hand to start, guys are finding him, and he's fully capable of taking on that, that scoring load. 30-plus points. He can do that. We know he can. But on a night like tonight, where obviously they get out to an early lead, there's one ball, and that ball is going to get passed around. It's going to get distributed because it's what winning teams do. And I think that was a big thing and a big reason why you had some of these players from the 2008 Celtics team, 2007, 2008 Celtics team come through. Not just the 07-08 team. Obviously, the guys played more seasons than that. We're talking about Paul Pierce. We're talking about Rajon Rondo, but we also have, Sam Cassell as an assistant coach. John, are you there?
I don't know, man. These are my last 2 days on the planet with Xfinity. They've been killing me.
Let me finish my thought.
Please finish it.
You came in at the perfect time, John. I was talking about your pal Jaylen Brown, and how tonight and last game were good examples of different things that Jaylen Brown will be asked to do. One night he's asked to, or not asked to, but he's pretty much given the role of the scorer, right? The lead guy. And it's on a night like tonight, he doesn't need to, but he's not forcing things. He took 13 threes last game because he was the guy that they were looking for. And tonight he takes 1. And I think if he's cool with that, then that means what these former Celtics were preaching are getting through to these guys. Because I can tell you there's a lot of players in the NBA that would not be cool with that. They would not want to take a back seat, or they would not want to be 3rd or 4th string on any given night. But if these guys can actually buy into that and say, hey, I don't really care that I only took 1 3-pointer tonight. We won by 50 freaking points. If they can be cool with that and they can put winning first, they're going to win the chance. They're going to at least go very, very far. I picked them to win the title before the season started. It's just a prediction. Obviously, not to take anything away from like the Nuggets or the Suns or whoever. Is John frozen again? Oh my God. I was talking to him the whole time thinking that he was listening. I'll just keep going then. Not to take anything away from those teams out west, but I think the Celtics, if they can actually put their, pride aside, and that's what you have to do. You have to put your personal goals and the scoring titles and the MVPs and the All-Star games and all teams aside, and you have to play for the common goal. So when you look at the score tonight and you look at the score in last night's game, that's what you get from a team that is buying into team basketball. And I like what I see so far. I really, really do. And it's hard to sit here and say otherwise. I mean, they're 4-0. I think widely considered going into the year as a title contender, and there has been absolutely nothing that would change that opinion for anybody. Even the bench tonight, we were in the chat, and I apologize, I can't look at the chat right now because I'm trying to do this show solo, but the chat a couple of games ago, right off the bat, only wanted to talk about how bad the bench was. And I guess that's typical Boston after a blowout win to try to find the negative things. And we're guilty of it on this show. Sometimes we do try to find, not try to find, but we do tend to focus on some of the negatives because you can only talk about, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown scoring 30 points a night so many times. And you have to look for other avenues at some points. But tonight, the bench, completely different story. 63 points, 23 rebounds, 12 assists. And I know we have some, we have Amit, our producer, super producer Amit, was nice enough to put some lower thirds together for us from some of the bench guys. And Pritchard tonight, after a really, really poor shooting night a couple nights ago, 15 points, 6 of 10 from the field and 2 of 3 from 3. And I think our guy Hauser, here we go. Look at this. 5 for 6 from 3 from Hauser. And this is a game where if you're Hauser, you're taking a huge, huge breath walking off the court after going 5 of 6 from 3 tonight. Because when you talk about what these guys are in the game to do, is to hit shots. A guy like Hauser's not going in there for defensive purposes, although I understand that he might be a better defender than a lot of people want to give him credit for. But when he's in the game, they're looking to get him shots, 3-point shots, and he needs to hit those shots. Tonight, he does that, plus 23 in 19 minutes, 5 of 6 from 3. I mentioned Pritchard earlier, 15 points from him. And again, he signs the contract to begin in the beginning of the year. And a little bit of a slow start, and you wonder, okay, is he going to be able to step into that, seventh man role for, if you're talking about the fact that you have 6 starters, is he going to sort of step into that first guy off the bench mentality in a way? In a night like tonight kind of gives you a little bit more hope. 9 assists, 4 rebounds. There's no reason why this guy can't be a good role player on a championship team. Last year, I felt like he didn't get enough opportunity. I felt like when they did go to him, it was either too late in games. And what I mean by that is he just kind of sat on the bench for too long in between playing time. And when you're a shooter, yeah, you need to be ready at all times. But anybody will tell you that if you're just sitting on the bench cold and then you're asked to go into the game, it's not that. It's a completely different, mentality and story to sort of just get yourself going that fast. So if he's able to get a little bit more consistent burn, obviously earlier on in games now, because he is coming in one of the first couple of guys theoretically off the bench, he's going to be able to get into a little bit of a groove early on, find his shot, hopefully get comfortable with the pace of the game, dish out the assist. He's a quick player. We call him Sparky as a joke, call him the pea party. And tonight, I think, gave everybody a little bit of an idea of, what some of these bench guys are capable of. No one is going to sit here tonight, again, after one good performance and say, oh, well, we can expect these type of numbers from the bench. We know that we can't. But the Celtics, and Bobby said it on the show, and John said it on the show, and I'm sure Josue has and Sherrod as well. They made their bed. They made their bench bed when they traded for Holiday. They made their bench bed when they didn't resign Grant. They made these decisions. And I think you live with them. Obviously, with the performance that you got tonight, the performance that you're getting so far from the starting lineup, where you have, guys or the starting lineup easily scoring, over 100 points combined, you're not going to need 63 points on any given on a regular night from your bench. And obviously the fact that they all played, the second half tonight is going to, blow those numbers up a little bit. But you like the fact that when they do go to the bench, it doesn't look like it did Monday night, where you look at a 30-point game dwindle down to 15. That was pretty disheartening. If you wanted to talk about a negative from Monday's game. Tonight was a different story. Love to see it. John is back again. I was talking to you for like 3 minutes and you were frozen again the second time. I thought you were just like really like looking at your computer, but you were frozen.
It's going to happen again.
Is it? Can we get like Josue or Bobby in here so I don't have to scream into the abyss?
We're trying to get Josue on.
Anyways, John, I've been going around explaining.
While I have internet, can I try to say something?
Please.
I'm going to try to say it. I'm going to try to not react too big, because when I do, you're messing with me. Don't do that. Because I'm going to get animated and I'm going to freeze with one of those faces. And
you can't joke about it. Yeah, you can't, because it's already happened twice. Are you in Brockton by now? Are you in Brockton, by the way, John, or are you somewhere else?
It's my neighborhood. It's just killing me. On and off trucks coming in. It's been pretty bad. We're gonna bring in Josue. What I was trying to say.
Why aren't you hardwired in?
I am. It's not that. It's the entire. Oh, wow. We're just going in and out. We've had just rolling issues. What I was trying to say is that this obsession with the bench, and the bench acquitted itself well today. I haven't fully understood, only because, again, if they're healthy, there's 3 starters on the floor at all times, and they're so much better than the other team. The bench doesn't need to do a lot. They just need to not puke all over themselves, and then they're fine. But tonight they did well. Like, you got good Hauser minutes in that first. He played 10 minutes in the first half.
Right. Yeah. And he finally found his shot. But I think
Pritchard was great.
Yeah, right. But I think, Joe Mazzulla is with you. I don't think he's looking for, and we talked about this in the last show, right, Jimmy? I mean, he's not looking for like a full 5-man lineup to come off the bench and that would be the norm or whatever. I just think he's looking for some sort of group that is always ready for when their name is called, regardless if they're up by 50 or if it's a tie game. So I just think it's super important that, you don't have like the deepest bench in the world, but that you have 3 guys that are consistent that you can always call upon, that obviously aren't involved in the, not a part of the top 6 as we're calling them, right? Outside of Al Horford. And I think Hauser he makes the most sense as someone who's grown as a defender. I mean, he's not like a lockdown defender, but he's certainly a lot better than he was a year ago around this time, right? His shot obviously has improved. And look, the law of averages has shown us time and time again. I mean, when he's ice cold, he's going to have one of these games, and that's exactly what happened today.
Is John there? Okay.
Yeah, John's crystal clear, man. You guys messing with me? This is like a joke on Joe's.
No, look, when it's running, it's humming like at a zillion gigabytes per whatever. It's flying, but when then it just goes. And
you're in HD right now, man. You're crystal clear.
I can't wait to watch back this video when I'm done, because I think I blacked out for like 5 minutes trying to figure out what the hell was going on.
Oh man, you got to embrace it, Jimmy. It's happened to me before. I call it it's the Josue show, and then you just go with it, and all of a sudden.
Yeah, I didn't catch a ton of the game tonight. I caught a chunk of it, but there were.
Oh, that's big. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think John is conspiring against me tonight. Is what I actually think.
Did Jimmy go on the?
It's because to comments like this, Jimmy, right?
Oh God, I wouldn't. No, I don't want to give over. I don't want to take host duties from you. They're all yours.
How much did you compare this game to the Wizards game? Just out of
Well, so that's I tweeted that earlier. That because Scal made a good comment.
Yeah, I retweeted
that. That's what I thought was like the Wizards like use Jordan Poole is like whatever, just flipping shots. Right. I mean,
in the first quarter,
minutes into the first quarter, the tone of that Wizards game was we're gonna lose. Let's get out of here. Yeah. They gave up on that game minutes in. The Pacers were trying their asses off, doing everything they could, and they'd be like, "Oh, we just scored," and then it was like, "Wham, 12-0 run, wham, 14-0," and it was like Rick Carlisle called a timeout every 2 minutes, and in between that, the lead had ballooned from like 10 to 12 to 36. Like he couldn't call timeouts fast enough. it was just an onslaught, and it was easy. It was like a layup drill when they wanted it, threes when they wanted them. It's just the talent differential. And I know, you're missing Halliburton, and the Pacers are the Pacers. The talent difference is just immense.
It's but the Pacers are like a fringe playoff team. They're not, right? I mean, they're not like completely.
But they're without.
I think we found out something. They're
without their best player. They're without their best player. It's not even
that's true. But I don't know if they're quite there. I mean, they're not Washington, but I mean, to your point, John, they were trying out there. They were working really hard. I mean, that's sort of their identity. I mean, they're not loaded with talent, but they have guys that are going to go out there and put forth their best effort. And the Celtics, I mean, it was devastating the way this team found his offense, early and often, and Jaylen going off, and then Tatum taking his. I mean, the mismatch, just the way these guys are able to sniff out a mismatch. I mean, TJ McConnell was a nightmare for him. It didn't matter where he was. He was caught either guarding Jason Tatum or down low trying to defend Jaylen at times.
Yeah.
It just shows a lot about this team's IQ. I mean, in terms of like the spacing, and obviously we knew going into it with Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis we're gonna mean to that. That's what makes them so explosive. But to see it put together the way it was tonight against the Pacers, man, it's like, man, these guys are just. This is gonna be one of those teams where you're like, man, like there's only maybe a handful of teams that could really, handful of defenses that could really put a dent into this offense. And I'm not saying that as in like, man, this team's going to go out and win like 75 games, but I just think that's how good this offense is. I mean, it's very explosive, clearly. Yeah. And they're so disciplined, it's like we were talking about going into the season. I mean, these guys, it's just so many experienced players that have all reached the point in their careers where, they're ready to take that next leap. And we're seeing it, even though it's only the second week of the regular season. I mean, obviously it's a great start.
You know what? And I don't feel like they're scoring only like one way. Like, I don't think that we're going to have a situation where it's like, hey, just take away the one thing they do well. Bobby texted us earlier tonight mentioning about how like their low post scoring is increasing. And you can see it out there too. Like they're not just relying on threes. The shots are falling. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you go down, they shot 58% from three tonight or something.
Right. I mean, yeah, but then that's how the lead balloons to 50 plus. Right.
But they didn't need it.
No, they right.
No. They were getting whatever they wanted, wherever they wanted.
Right.
And Tatum getting 10 free throws in 3 quarters, like that's every day in this offense, right? Like that's the norm. That's the new norm for him.
What we used to say, yeah. And what do we all used to say? That he doesn't when he makes it so hard on himself, right? Yeah. Like we always used to say, has it ever been harder for a player to score 22 points? And we were talking about Tatum, and we were talking about like Tatum and Brown. Now he's quietly scoring 30 points, like every game. He's going to quietly average 30 points a game this year. And it's because he's doing it in all facets of the game on offense, right? He's not just taking wild threes. What's up, John?
No, just when you guys were talking about the threes, the starters only shot, the Celtics shot 35 as a team. And that's with, 15 minutes of clown time where people were just jacking them. The starters only shot 23s. Like a ton of that stuff came in the fourth quarter. Hauser shot 6. Pritchard shot 3. Svi shot 4 in his 1 minute of action or whatever. Like they were not relying on it. They were going, attacking, mismatch, in the paint. I mean, it was clinical. This just dismantling of this team. Unbelievable.
And I love seeing that effort in the fourth quarter, man. I know it's cliche when you see the team, up by 40 and the fourth quarter, the bench crew is still carrying it. But man, to see the entire starting 5 and the rest of the guys on the bench on their feet throughout that fourth quarter, cheering on Hauser, cheering on, Peyton Pritchard. It was a great moment for these guys. Clearly what happened in Washington was discussed in practice, I'm sure. The second unit, not dropping the ball because, they still won the game, but clearly, they could use some more out of those guys, right? I mean, Bobby asked Joe Mazzulla about the second unit's offense. And he's like, no, I'm not worried about that because I think what he means by that is, 1, it's early, and 2, I mean, he's not going to, again, expect 5-6 guys to come off the bench and perform at a high level, but you're seeing that continuity between the second unit, and I love that Pritchard's involved in that. I asked I said Brad Stevens. I asked Joe Mazzulla after the game about that. And he's
I
saying,
called
man,
Joe Ime all year last year. I think
I
you get a
haven't said
pass.
Brad in a year probably. It's been a while, but
We'll let it slide.
thanks. Yeah, I mean, and when I asked him about that, he's like, man, Pritchard right now is going through that stage of deciding when it's his time to attack and when it's time to be that secondary playmaker that can set up shots for guys. And I think that fourth quarter was a great example of that. And you saw Mazzulla on his feet a lot throughout that fourth, kind of coaching him through, especially on the defensive end, but showing, talking to Pritchard during timeouts, one-on-one, just kind of regrouping and stuff, not like in a you're in trouble type of way, but just seeing those two communicate, man, I think goes a long way, especially for Pritchard. I really do believe he's going to be one very important piece off the bench, that secondary playmaker that's going to help create those opportunities.
Yeah. That's totally possible. I know, like, Bobby's obviously really bullish. I'm honest, I'm not, but I don't care. Like,
Shocking.
no, meaning, like, I don't think you can count on it night in, night out, but I don't care because I don't think you need that. That's the point, is you just need people. Look, if they get hurt, that's tough. Depth really starts to get stretched there, and that's going to be challenging. But if they're healthy, you don't need the bench to score. You just need them to support the starters who are going to be on the floor at the same time as them when they score. It's always all night long, 3 of the top 6 and 2 bench guys. They're not subbing in 5 out. So you just don't need it. You just got to find the guys that fit and that can give you what you need. And I know there's stuff in the chat about Stevens tonight. I know he only played 6 minutes. I like him. I want to see him. I want to see him get more cracks. I think you need, more than anything else, you need to be able to spell, to get some wing minutes, to get some athletes out there, to get some defense out there, to get energy out there. Brissett scares the hell out of me. He looks really sloppy. I'd like to flip Brissett and Stevens minutes and see what happens there. Jimmy had a comment up there that said that imagine betting 50 plus 50 and
Pacers
losing
plus 50.
if you did want to do that, and it wasn't 50, it was 13.5, and Bobby and Josue did a little pregame hit for FanDuel prior to the game. Like, that seems high. 13 and a half. Wow, no respect for the Pacers. Oh boy, that thing was covered.
Were they wrong?
Were they wrong? That was easy money tonight. If you want to get in on the action, check out FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/Boston. What do you get there? Deals, Jimmy. Deals. 150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. What's a money line bet, Jimmy?
Straight up, pick the team who's going to win.
Pick the team. Can't get simpler than that. If you took the Pacers on the money line, it would have been a big number tonight. It also would have been really, really dumb.
Would have been a quick turning off the TV for you.
I lost that one. But again, bet the money line, which is just look at a game. I think this team is going to win. It's the easiest type of bet to make.
For your first bet, you're going to want to bet the money line on a team that's like minus 1,000. Okay. You want to pick a heavy favorite to get this bonus bet money. And then you can, do whatever you want, go take a risk or whatever. But
and then play around with it. Right. Take the sure thing, like tonight.
Don't be risky on the bonus bet here. Be smart. Celtics money line would have been a good bet tonight, right? Yes. I mean, if they're minus 13 to going into the game, then that typically means that's a good money line bet.
Yeah, that would have been ridiculous. So again, easy to use app, download it. Take advantage of that. Those bonus bucks, 150 bonus bucks when you win a $5 money line bet. Again, FanDuel, official partner of the National Football League and the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. Download the app. Super easy to use. Spreads, player props, over-unders, whatever you have. Get after it. You've got all 4 sports kicking at once right now. So there's a lot of things that you can get involved with. You got to be 21 or over in mass if you want to get involved in the action. The first online real money wager has to be $5, as we said, and you got to win it on a money line bet. The bonuses are issued as non-withdrawable bonus bucks expire in 7 days.
You gotta use the
after.
bet money. Yeah, you can't just
Gotta
cash
use it.
out bonus
Yep.
bucks.
You got to use it. You got to use it. If you have any issues here, Hope is here. GamblingHelplineMA.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com or call 1-800-GAM-1234. Now, if you
John.
need more help than that, Jimmy, even more help, okay? What do you
I'm
need?
listening. You need
Odds Are. You go to
Odds
Odds Are. If you don't know what you're doing with a bet, check out Odds Are. Go to oddsr.com/Celtics. It's not a sports book. It just helps you bet smarter using machine learning and AI, helps analyze and crunch all the numbers to make sure that you are putting your money in a smart place. So once again, oddsr.com/Celtics, 30-day free trial when you download the app. You got to download the app, oddsr.com/Celtics. Back to the game, Jimmy, you were saying?
Well, I get your point on the bench. I really do. But you can't have a completely inept bench and expect to win.
Not
the
inept.
championship.
You're right.
It's just not going to happen that way. That the basketball gods would not allow that. Can't imagine that's ever happened in the course of NBA history. That you just have 5 or 6 good.
They just have to play their roles, whatever you want.
They have to play their roles.
Yeah,
they have to play their roles. There's
that
gonna
Pistons squad. They may have had 2.
That Pistons squad is an anomaly.
Okay, fair enough.
I still don't know how they won the title that year, but you have to have guys that, like you said, yes, play a role. But there will be, John, there are going to be games where there's going to be guys resting, and those players are going to now be either in the starting lineup or first off the bench, and there's going to be less starters that's going to be able to save them. You can't expect, and obviously, especially in today's NBA, you're not going to get 5 guys or 6 guys that are going to play 82 games or even 72 games. So there's got to be some level of dependability from this bench. And it was nice tonight that Hauser, you talk about roles. Hauser did his role perfectly, 5 of 6 from 3. Pritchard did his role perfectly, came in off the bench, 9 assists, paced the team when he was in there. That's great. If you can get that out of those guys, yeah, you are gonna win 72 games, as Josue said earlier tonight.
Yeah, Cornette, you got a full quarter of Cornette, and you got Bobby. What's going on, Bobby?
Not quite. They got him out of there.
Sorry about that.
That was disappointing. But
sorry for your loss.
Yeah, sorry for your loss.
But overall, big turnaround from that group. I was a little concerned, John, and good to see them bounce back here against probably better competition on the floor. They clicked really well, and I asked Joe pregame about that group, and he said Pritchard, Hauser, we're still very confident in those guys. So no bench shakeup in sight. I don't think you're going to see, to your point, John, the Lamar Stevens and Delano Bantons of the world just yet. And of course, Neemias Cade, who's hurt now, which is a little disappointing in the 2 games he could have potentially played here. But you're thin. We knew that coming in. I think it's even more apparent than we predicted. This team pretty much has to score 100 points from that starting unit, which they would have gotten to pretty easily tonight if they played the full game. And they're capable of it. That starting 5, you weren't here, John, but I pretty much relented. What else are you going to say? They're outscoring teams by 40 points per 100. So you keep that group.
What else are you going to say, Bobby? Holiday to the bench? ?
You can't do it. You can't do it.
Oh, you can't? Are you what?
No, you
Why
can't.
not?
Why not?
Jeez, that's weird.
Because you're up 30 in the first quarter with that group out there, and then the
Why
bench
not?
doesn't even matter.
Exactly.
But we'll see what happens throughout the flow of the season here. It's an amazing lineup because of the fact that the way they want to play, mismatch hunting, you're pretty much looking at, and Joe said it before the game, they showed a clip from one of the first 3 games where they had 5 mismatches across the floor. And it's where do you go with it? So, they're going to get better at identifying
Christmas
those.
every time down the court, right?
Yeah.
It's I don't know what to open first, I don't know where to go. It's so, there's so many opportunities. It's just, it's almost too easy. What's funny is you would think the Celtics would get bored, and they might if they keep this up.
Right.
But
that could happen.
But they're not. And you know why they're not? It's strictly because of Holiday and White in that starting lineup. They won't let it happen. They just go all the time. I think they keep the energy up. We talked about this in a different show, and other guys see it, and they're like, oh, I guess we're still trying. Let's keep trying here. And they just keep. I love the focus of those 2 guys, both when they have the ball in their hand and how quick they kind of move it, and also on defense. The effort is just there at the start, and I think it's impossible to slack off. Like another difference with this team, what have we seen a couple times this year? Okay, out of 4 games, bit of a dogfight and a slop fest against the Knicks. Okay, opening night, to be expected.
Mhm.
A tough game against Miami where you started to implode a little bit. You had that situation with the double turnover and you fall down early. They come back and play well in crunch time. Then you have 2 games in a row against a crap opponent that you could have easily taken lightly. They don't take them lightly. They come out, step on their throats, and then they come out in the second half and extend their lead even further. Those are all things that they didn't do last year, and you've seen a snapshot of all of these things. Just shows you they're taking stuff more seriously. Here's Mazzulla talking about
that. What's making them kind of have that focus now? 2 games in a row where they've had that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just who they are. It's just them. They're aware of it. They've been around a long time. They communicate with each other, and then that's kind of the standard that they set for themselves. And even in like the 8-minute mark to about 6 or 4 when they came out, like I thought we were like competing, making multiple efforts, and like that is a testament of the toughness that you have to handle the things that go in the NBA. So we got to have the humility to understand that it went well for us, and we just got to be ready for the times that it doesn't.
Yeah, we'll see when that comes. Doesn't seem like it's going to come anytime soon.
I don't know. You wonder. I just there's something.
I thought
different.
it would be tonight, right? But Halliburton goes
Impossible,
down,
right?
and you're like,
Too soon. I think that happens with any team, but not at this point of the season. I mean, this is when everyone is focused, or at least trying to find that continuity that every team's trying to find. But the Celtics are way ahead of the rest of the NBA, it feels like, like in terms of just that offense. And I know they're not, number 1 right now if you look up the team's stats, but by week 3 or week
After
4,
tonight, they will be.
It wouldn't shock me. Oh, yeah, after tonight, I probably will be. But I think they're averaging, 117 going into this one? So
yeah,
this will definitely put them over 120. But it's still early, but I don't see this thing slowing down anytime soon.
I have no reason to believe it will. I mean, these guys are clicking on all cylinders right now. I mean, they really are. And
it's still fresh.
Yeah, it's still, I mean, listen, you have to like what you see because this is a new starting lineup. And the fact that they could have had growing pains to start the year. I mean, shoot, a lot of people thought Holiday might come off the bench before he got more acclimated with the starters. Like, so it's clear that hasn't been needed, which is a great thing. Now, yeah, there's going to be, listen, they're not going to win every single game, and we're going to trash them on here at some point, when they lose and if they lose to a bad team. But I don't think the Pacers, especially without Halliburton tonight, are talented enough to stage any sort of comeback in that second half there. And I think I said it off the top, these types of wins, the last 2, although they're done differently because they're scoring a lot more and John's gone again, they're killing teams that reminds me of like the 07-08 team, Josue. When they came in, the Pierce and the Ray Allen.
We talked about that here tonight.
Joining the team. Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
The fact that, these guys came in and nobody knew for sure what to expect. They knew that they had a lot of talent. They weren't sure how it was going to look out there altogether. And right off the bat, oh shit, yeah, it's going to work. And they're absolutely, just taking it to teams and foot on their throats in that second half. They're embarrassing team. This is an embarrassing loss to lose by 50 points, basically 49 points. That's embarrassing if you're a Pacers player.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, I told Josue, I was like, that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah,
just the way it kept growing and growing and growing.
I said, yeah. Bobby, this is how it used to be, man.
It didn't really look like the Pacers gave up either. Like the Celtics just kept pushing.
No, the Pacers don't have players that are like, shot chuckers and divas and all that stuff where they would just give up. Like they're just, the talent gap is that big. Again, Pacers are playing without their best player, right? So there's going to be some of that. But even if Halliburton's in the game, I mean, you're still talking about an easy double-digit win here, right? I mean, he's not going to make.
We'll see. I don't know. He's very important to them.
He is, but I don't think that he changes the game that drastically tonight.
No.
Like this was a game that the Celtics were dead set on coming out there, and the shots fell. But Bobby, you mentioned it in our text earlier. They're scoring way more this year. You said post play, right? Is way up compared to where it was last year.
Coming into tonight, they were second in post-ups behind Denver. So a dramatic difference from a team that virtually didn't post up last year outside of like maybe one a game from Tatum. You're seeing Jrue do it. You're seeing Tatum do it a lot more. You're seeing Porzingis do it certainly. And Brown got into it a little bit tonight, I thought, too, backing guys down and hitting those little turnarounds. So they're a powerful team. Tatum's playing with some real force. And I think that adds to some of the imbalance they create on these defenses because teams really have to account for that now. They have to guard the middle. They have to kind of pack the paint a little bit. And Joe said it after the last game, and I thought it was a great point. The Celtics are playing inside out this year more. Like they're going to the rim and scoring there and then getting the ball out to the perimeter from there. They're grabbing offensive rebounds and kicking them out. Everything they do kind of starts from the paint. And that's a difference from last year when I thought more often than not, they just kind of step around screens and shoot threes.
Everything was just around the 3-point line.
Pull up quick in transition or just, get the fastest three they could. And, they're still shooting a ton of threes. It's still a big part of what they do. In fact, they were first in volume coming into tonight, but they have the
I think they're getting better looks, though.
Yeah,
I think they're getting better looks. Like you said, if they're going inside to outside, you're getting passes from the whole opposite direction now than you were from last year, and you're getting better looks. I mean, you can't
I thought
tell
they
me
settled a lot last year.
Totally. Oh my God, we would go on the show and pull our hair out because of the shot selection, how boring their offense was, right? How they would just, whether they walk it up or run it up, it would just always end up being an ill-advised, not always, but it would be a 3-pointer, whether it was ill-advised or not. Right. Smart was guilty of it. Tatum was guilty of it. Brown was guilty of it. All those guys. Holiday, I think what he brings, he's just such a big body. He doesn't play like a guard. As we know, he can guard basically 1 through 5. And he oftentimes he's right there under the basket, fighting for boards or on the offensive end, bullying guys under the hoop. His low post, his moves low post are exceptional. And I just think he just plays so much more controlled too, where he has been a huge, huge part of the way that they play differently now on offense. And everyone talks about what he does defensively, Josue, but offensively, even if he's not the guy scoring, he's allowing them to score in different ways.
Right. And this is like the first time he's had like weapons like this, right? I think John said it's like Christmas for him, He's like, maybe that's something we overlooked as well, how he would adapt naturally and how it just makes everyone better, right?
What are you guys talking about? Sounds fun.
What's up, John?
Holiday. Welcome back, John.
Hey guys.
John, wait your
Talking
turn.
about how Holiday has changed, or he's been one of the reasons why their offenses look so different now.
What's the over-under?
Was talking about it.
What's the over-under on by which game Bobby's gonna start liking him?
83. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think
he usually goes one way or the other, so probably Saturday night, the next game against the Nets.
Yeah, he's dying on that hill right now. But Josue, you were talking about how Holiday kind of affects things differently on offense.
I just think he makes just life easier for everyone, and he's still adapting. Right? It was game 4. So I think when Joe Mazzulla was telling us that throughout training camp, and having us sort of wonder if he was going to go with a different starting 5 than we all envisioned, I think that had a little bit to do with it. Him adapting and all that. But I don't think that was ever the plan for him to come off the bench. I just think that it was something that we were all going to see how the starting 5 is completely different in the sense of how they approach the game, compared to last year. And then there's Porzingis, like that 7'3" body just changes a lot, right? It's the spacing is way different compared to last year. You have someone who could score essentially from anywhere inside the arc, beyond the arc. And tonight his presence just opened up the floodgates for guys like Tatum, right? For Holiday, for Derek White. I mean, it's just against a team like the Indiana Pacers where, like you said, Jimmy, didn't have that offensive firepower to even muster a comeback in that second half. The Celtics' approach never changed. It was as if they were down or as if it was a close game throughout the entire second half.
Yeah, and you know what? Sorry, Bobby, why don't you go?
We've seen the biggest difference, I think, offensively because of Porzingis, and Holiday still working his way in, picking his spots here, effective with the shot making and just where he's positioning himself on the floor. But, your Whites and Tatums and Porzingis are driving, I think, the
Porzingai.
Yeah, boost on that.
That's the plural, right? That's the correct plural.
Yeah,
that is true.
Porzingai.
They're driving the offensive, and certainly a lot of this offense firepower comes from their defensive stops. That's where Holiday deserves a ton of credit. I mean, they're doubling, they're digging, they're bringing help, they're being very aggressive on that end, and certainly Porzingis makes an impact on that end too. But in terms of in the half court, just all the mismatches and imbalance they're creating, it's definitely Porzingis. He just
It's everything.
He just draws so much attention. Yeah, but he's the biggest one.
It's what happened? They had small guards. It's everything. Of course, Porzingis is one. What happens tonight? The Pacers are playing small guards. What are the first two possessions? In the post, Jrue in the post, and White muscles a guy down low. Like it's impossible to defend them. Like it's impossible. When
and
we
vice
talked
versa,
about like what are you losing
them
with this and blah blah blah, they are impossible to defend. Impossible.
And also, on the contrary, John, teams hate to play offense against those two guards, Holiday and White.
Hate it.
They're big, they're physical, they're obviously talented, and they get in the way. Let me ask you guys this. Do you think the Bucks are missing Jrue Holiday? They just got 130 dropped in their heads tonight by Toronto. And our guy Schroeder dropped 24 in them tonight. So
29
that guy.
Yeah.
He's my guy.
Backcourt
Struggling
right now.
John, come on. We at least share him.
Jimmy and John.
We do share him. We do share him.
You can't take them all yourself.
No. You can have him. You can have him too. Our guy, Dennis Schroeder.
Our guy.
24 tonight against the Bucks. They're missing. I mean, I think missing Holiday is going to come back, and they're going to feel it at certain points. Yes, Lillard is a scoring machine, but tonight,
Lillard,
I think,
9 shots tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch the game. I don't know what happened, but you can't tell me that Schroeder's scoring 24 points if Holiday's in the game. You just can't. So I think that what they got and what they get from Lillard is great, but what they lose in losing Holiday is something that they're not going to be that defensive stalwart team that we saw them in past years.
Did you guys see that Thanasis compilation that was going around social media?
No.
Oh my God. He played more minutes than he ever should. It was only in like a few minutes of action, but he made like 12 of the ugliest basketball plays I've ever seen. I mean, the goofiest shit. In between losing the ball, bouncing off of it, him just flying past guys on like fakes and then coming back and fouling them. It's literally the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Is it like a highlight reel?
Yeah, highlight.
Well, speaking about flying around, did you mention your old friend John who was back tonight?
We were gonna talk Nesmith, and I think it's fair, right?
I didn't bring him up yet. No.
We might have a Nesmith soundbite too. I'll try to cue that one up because he did talk today. We didn't, but it was like almost sad, wasn't it?
Huh? He didn't start from them. What's going on with
him?
No, he came off the bench.
I thought he was maybe gonna start.
Yeah, he hasn't been. Let me see if I can load it up. I mean, wasn't it kind of sad watching like Tatum's like eyes turn into saucers when Nesmith would be on him and be like, "Oh my God!"
And Jaylen.
He's like, "Which way should I go? Left, right, at him."
Nesmith was having flashbacks, man. I think, especially when Jaylen
was only a -10, which isn't bad when you lose by 40.
I thought he played decent. Yeah, he was tied for their team lead in points at one point.
Honestly, he's fine. He's better than we gave than some people gave him credit for. I mean, we all gave up on him. Let's be fair, but yeah, he's been.
We gave up on him because the Celtics gave up.
Yeah, on him. There wasn't much of an opportunity. Looking back,
you and I agree on that one too, Jimmy. The
between
lack
Tatum
of development.
I mean, Carlisle talked about it a little bit before the game, but he also said that he's one of their best defenders, so that's obviously a big reason why he got that contract.
He reinvented himself, and that's fine. The problem was we were sold a false bill of goods, and so was Danny, for that matter, about the type of shooter that he is. Yeah. He's not that guy.
Right. Well, in retrospect, Grant took his spot, right? I mean,
not that guy, pal.
Like he's
not that guy.
He's the solid four for the Pacers. But then Grant, at that season, there was no way you're going to play him over Grant, so he really didn't have a chance.
Hauser too, certainly.
And Hauser too, yeah, that's a good point.
But he fits there in Indiana. They like him to extend him.
Hauser,
what do you get? 4 years, $33 million. 3 years, $33 million.
I think this bite. Amit, correct me if I'm wrong here in the chat. Also, do we have a Nesmith lower third? Correct me if I'm wrong, Amit. This is about disrespect. This soundbite that we're going to hear now.
Yeah. So there was a tweet when he got traded to the Pacers that was saying
from like
the Pacers
Bleacher Report.
Got like a stick of gum.
They got they got Brogdon for nothing. This was Nesmith, I think, responding to that. Hold on.
As soon as the trade happened, I saw the tweet and I saved it immediately. Like, I'm someone that, I do take things personally, and I think that helps make me better. It's what drives me to go to the gym at night. So seeing that tweet was always on my mind for sure.
Did you print that out and put it on your fridge or anything?
No, I saved it in my favorite. So, sometimes if I'm having a good day or something, I open up the photos and it's in there. Just, makes me want to go to the gym. Yeah, so.
I think that was kind of was it a rando for that one? Or was that a tweet from someone random? Or was it?
I think Bleacher Report.
Was it Bleacher Report?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So when you see something like that from a major outlet,
yeah.
does it feel differently than if some random fan?
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because if it's everybody's entitled to their own opinions, but when legitimate source or whatever tweets it, definitely holds more weight.
I like that.
Hey, lay off.
Yeah. What's that?
Lay
No,
off the random
wasn't a
fans,
random.
Jared. They pay your salary, all right?
Some rando.
I know. He called him
Rando.
well, not only that, but
Some guy with no check mark.
Like some
Clearly
working at
it
a
was-
Starbucks or something.
It
Lay
has to
off
be-
the guys.
it's
They're
got to be
just
something
regular
like a
dudes.
Bleacher Report for him to keep that. It's not going to be a random.
I like
Oh,
how
yeah,
he's
here-
like, yeah, whenever I'm having a good day, I pull that up and totally get pissed.
Yeah.
Here's the tweet.
By the
Here's
way-
the tweet, by the way.
Who prints tweets?
Yeah. you didn't print it.
You don't
Gen
print-
Xers?
No, I'm saying you
I mean,
don't
not Gen
print
Xers,
it and put it on your fridge. No one
Oh,
prints
Jared,
tweets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Not
that's
anymore.
what inspired his performance tonight.
I didn't even
one
think
put
about that. Yeah, you're right.
You don't print a tweet,
Well,
guys.
It's not like
You
a.
could.
It's not like he cut something out of the newspaper like it's in the 90s.
No, it's funny.
Frank,
Yeah,
lucky.
that's our pal. I'm gonna root for him.
Sure.
And Jimmy, you said it. They give him a chance.
No, we talked about it on towards the end of last show. We talked
Yeah.
about Nesmith and the Pacers for a bit, and it's the same thing that you say about Romeo. Or I don't think anyone actually thinks that Romeo deserved a chance.
No, but you had this. You could only know
It's the
for
same thing.
sure if they
Right.
could play. If you
Right.
gave him a chance, you left with question marks. As it turns out, Nesmith is semi-useful,
Right.
and Romeo's useless. But
And I think the point that
Yeah.
Josue and Bobby made was that they had different priorities. They were trying to win a title, and developing a player wasn't part of that plan in the midst of that. So
2021 you could have, but you didn't know where that season was going when it started.
right. And listen, it's we can all go back and say, oh, should they have done it? Shouldn't they have done it? Nobody was upset when they made that trade. And again, Malcolm Brogdon, yeah, the Celtics didn't win a title last year, but he was the sixth man of the year.
It was a slam dunk.
Everyone forgets that, I feel like. He was great on this team and didn't end well. And obviously it got awkward and they traded him and they got Holiday because of it. So everyone's happy about that. But let's not act like the trade blew up in the Celtics' faces. It ended up being, instrumental to as far as they went. They probably don't go as far as they go last year without making that trade, because there were a lot of games where Brogdon came in and he was, we said it, the best point guard on the team. So, it was a trade that had to be done, and I think both sides benefited from it. And obviously Nesmith has a much bigger role there, and he's going to, and he still wouldn't have a big role on this team. So
you've got starters that don't necessarily have a big role. I mean,
Right.
not big role, but I'm saying it's like this team right now is just like I said. You could absolutely benefit from a guy like Nesmith if he was still around right now.
yeah, on a bench role for sure. He'd be first guy off
Absolutely.
the bench.
You actually wish you had a Nesmith. Like right now, Nesmith at this
Yep.
point in his career would be outstanding as a person to come off the bench for this team. But sadly, you don't have any of those guys yet, so you got to figure out which of them kind of
You got
can
Hauser.
come in and do it.
So you're gonna have to hope
You
he
got Hauser, you
plays
got Stevens,
consistently.
you got O'Shea. One of those guys has to play.
Yeah.
Right now,
some
it
minutes
seems
at
like
some
it's
point.
going to be Hauser more often than not. And maybe that changes over time, but they're not just going to, as they used to do with Nesmith, John, pull him out of there the second he starts 1 of 4, or has a bad game, which he did last game. And tonight he comes out and was awesome.
Yeah.
So they really believe in him, obviously. The center thing's another conversation right now. They were playing around with Lamar Stevens and O'Shea at the 5.
Don
down
has
the
a
stretch
crush
there.
on Lamar Stevens, I think.
I kind of like Lamar.
So he told me during camp he could play a little 5, which would be interesting. He's small, be tough, but in a matchup like this, it worked down the stretch there. So I don't know. They're kind of stuck, John. Cornette's not playing well. Kate is hurt. and
That's not playing.
your next guy up is
Bobby.
Stevens.
He's not play. Your sentence was one word too long.
Yeah, he's just not playing.
Not playing.
What are you gonna do
period.
next Saturday when Horford's out?
You're gonna go small. You'll probably squeeze.
You got to find 11 minutes.
You're going to see that
You'll squeeze
Syracuse
him in.
product out there playing extended minutes.
You'll play small ball lineups depending on who's on the floor, and you'll squeeze in some Cornet minutes, I think, as well. And I think that's where having a 7-footer has some use there. But as I said, Bobby, I mean, we joked about it, but one of my bold predictions is in games where everybody's healthy, Cornet doesn't have a role. And I don't think he will. I think he's outside of the 8 or 9. So I think he only plays in those games where they load manage a big.
Damn, John, you're saying he's outside the circle of trust?
He is. No, I don't think they don't. I just don't. They're so good. You're just not going to need those minutes because now that you're committed to more single big lineups for you just don't need it. With this team because they're so freaking good. The top 6 is so good. You just don't need it,
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlisle was saying how tough it is to crack this rotation. He was had nothing but great things to say about what David said as he envisioned him taking down that 7th or 8th spot.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Rick Carlisle before the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Carlisle.
Singing O'Shea's praises.
Normally at this point in the show, I've received at least 40 or 50 complaints about not talking enough about Jaylen. Are we supposed to talk about Jaylen tonight? Or is he not good after a 16-point game?
I talked about it on my solo show that
I mentioned him.
you missed. But we can bring him up again if you'd like.
No.
Thanks for doing
it's
that.
not. That's the pointless thing here is every night somebody new is going to go bananas.
And someone new's going to have to take the lesser end of the.
Was Derek
scoring
White bad for all of the John skipped the show because Jaylen had 36? I want to make sure. Did everybody say that Derek White was bad last game because he only had 5? If we're reacting to one game, Derek White's bad then, right? No, every night's going to be a different guy. Every night's going to be a different guy with
Tonight it was Porzingis.
I think you had Holiday took tonight was Porzingis.
Holiday took
7
9 shots. Porzingis took 7.
Yeah, that's just nights where some guys just aren't going to get opportunities because the ball went in a different direction.
He was still impactful.
And this is what I said earlier.
They all are. Every one of them. They were all impactful.
Right.
Brown only had 6 points. He was 3 of 4 with a steal and an assist and a block. In the first quarter, he didn't need to take 10 shots in the first quarter.
His defense is just other. Every time he contests a shot, the guy misses.
Brown?
No, Porzingis.
Yeah, because he's 7'4".
It is something.
He's just getting your face very quickly too. No, I mean I said,
but everything was contested. There was I don't know. It was tough.
They're trying hard on that end, and I love it. They're bringing back that side of the ball.
No, what I had said earlier when everyone's internet died and I was staring off into the abyss is that you look at Jaylen Brown's last 2 games and the fact that he goes from shooting 13 3-pointers 2 games ago to shooting 1 tonight, that to me speaks volumes about understanding the moment and understanding what you're needed to do in a given game and being able to adapt and adjust what's needed. So again, going into the beginning of the year, they had a lot of former Celtics coming in, and I imagine the message was, putting the team first, right? And Josue will remember, and John, you will, Ubuntu. Bobby, I don't know if you remember Ubuntu. It was a little...
I watched the documentary.
Okay, so you watched the documentary. I haven't heard that saying yet, but I imagine maybe Pierce or Rondo could have mentioned it, or maybe Cassell has spread that message. But
it's sacrifice this time.
Yeah, it's sacrifice. It's putting your brothers before you and understanding what the common goal is, and that means what we talked about: taking 7 shots like Porzingis did tonight. He's going to have a game where he takes 17 or 25. And it just is what it is. When you win by 50 points. You shouldn't care about how many points you had or how many minutes you played.
Ubuntu. I am what I am because of what we all are. That's kind of the point. Is doesn't really matter. I'm only good.
I'm only great if you're
I'm
good.
only good. I'm only great if we're great. That was the
Right.
philosophy behind it. I know it was a tad overplayed, but like they legit exemplified it in every that 08 team, in every facet of
John,
everything that they did. And
I don't think
I point to it all the time as a parallel to this team. Again, just look at the individual sacrifice of where all of those players went, both in terms of the style of basketball that they were accustomed to playing, the amount of shots that they took, their usage, how much they had the ball in their hands the year before that year when they were all the alpha on their teams, and what they did to coexist in 1 year. It really was remarkable how quick that came together. Usually those big threes or those teams that kind of crash together out of nowhere, it's like, all right, it might take them a year or so to figure stuff out.
Well, how many times do we
They
see
were
it now?
clicking
in
like
NBA?
that, like
Yeah.
instantly.
Yeah.
It was unreal. And right now,
You kinda
4 games in, how much of an improvement you
Right.
see game over game, just in terms of how they're playing off each other and how it's flowing. It does feel contagious, right? Because all of a sudden, if you're not thinking like, well, I got to score or I got to get mine, and you're just like, I guess we're just going to just kick the shit out of this other team, it just kind of takes the pressure off. And you're just like, all right, it goes here, it goes there, and I do this and I do that. And it'll eventually come back around and I don't have to worry about it. And it's just a different style of playing.
Put the egos away. Similar vibe as the 08 team. And real quick, I have to say this because we're talking about Ubuntu. The very first article I ever had published in a newspaper was in the Lowell Sun, and it was about Ubuntu and what it meant. But for whatever reason, they didn't put my name in the article. It just said
it's about the team, Jimmy.
It had a picture of me, but it said guest. It said like guest columnist. I was like, what the F? Yeah, I couldn't believe they didn't put my name in there, but that was the very first time I was published because of an article about Ubuntu. You could probably find it online.
Was that intentional?
No, it better not have been. They better put. They didn't pay me for it, but they could at least
That
put my
means
name on it.
you didn't believe in what you were writing then. If that's what you wanted.
Hell no, I wasn't on the team. I was just writing about it. I didn't believe in that shit.
John, I think you.
I can see an 18 or 19-year-old Jimmy being like, "What the?" Like so mad.
What's that, Jimmy?
Bullshit.
I don't think you were here when Jimmy said it, but this felt like one of those. And I haven't, it's been a million comparisons to that team, but being up 50 in this game and Gino playing and the way they did it, it did feel like one of those nights from back in that era. It really did. I mean, just taking care of business methodically, being a million times better than this other team.
This team's probably better. It really is. Like just talent alone.
No.
Because they're younger and they're in their primes.
It's. I mean, those guys were
Talent-wise,
prime, but
they probably have a better starting lineup.
It's the starting lineup. It's because Perk and Rondo were not. Perk was Perk.
Right. They were.
And Rondo was still not Rondo. Not the Rondo that he became. He was. He wasn't fully developed yet. He was a concern entering the you were like it was. I mean, you talk.
He didn't have to score.
You had two, not question marks, guys who filled their roles in the starting lineup. Here you've got stars in the starting lineup. You know what I mean? So you still had two question marks on that team in the starting lineup. And again, there's so much more talent in the NBA now, even 15 years later. But then the bench was all just role players. Eddie House was, Pritchard or Hauser, whatever.
They had a great bench. Posey,
Poe. They all just played roles,
Whoa. I don't know. You could put Pritchard as,
I'm not saying that.
No, I know. But I see what you're saying, though. You had those 2-3 guys that you could always rely on. James Posey, Eddie House. I think that's what
House was great.
That's what you envision for this team, to just figure out who those guys are. I mean, Al's clearly one of them off the bench, but who are the other?
Cornette was Pollard. Cornette is Pollard.
Cornette might be Pollard. Accurate. Who was on one of the Survivor? What was it? In 18 or 2019, he was on Survivor TV shows.
Yeah,
was he?
Is Cornette Scal?
That I believe.
Could be. No, Scal was actually good. Remember?
Pollard. Yeah, so that's why he can't be Scal.
Nah, Scal's like Svi or something.
Yeah. Scal.
Scal played 10 minutes a game.
Well, yeah. Scal had a role. We'll give.
He had a legendary press conference.
There was Scal and there was like 20.
He did have a legendary
press conference.
There were other guys too.
It's the quickest anybody's gotten as drunk as Scal was in history. It was 15 minutes. 15 minutes after the game, and he was legless.
I was like, were you drinking during the fourth quarter?
You were just trashing media, right?
No, he got up there and
he
was
went
like,
after all the media. He was like, "You guys said we weren't going to win."
Yeah, he said the White Mamba thing.
No, he stumbled to the podium. And because there was a gap in the people who'd spoken out, he's like, screw it, I'm going. He's like, yeah, it's me. He's like, what do you want? And you started talking. He's like, so what? He's like, 5 years from now, no one's going to know, how much I played in 10 years. Hey, I might be able to tell people I had 10 points. And 20 years from now, hey, I was a series MVP. And what do you think about that? And he was just like, just slurring and just goofy. And everyone was like, all right, that was the Scal presser.
Right, yeah, we're all
he wasn't supposed to do a presser. He just saw the space and just walked up to it. He's like, all right, Scal time.
I thought all the players went up on the after
but he
finals
was
win.
hammered. Yeah,
That's funny. I didn't know he just went up there.
He just went up on his own. He didn't play. He didn't play the whole time.
Here we go, as you requested.
Yeah.
Any questions for Scal?
You weren't even any questions.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, we're off to New York.
So what do you guys got? You're off to Brooklyn?
Think Ben Simmons can guard Porzingis?
I think Ben Simmons can guard.
What's Simmons been doing?
He's been okay. He's 10, 10, and 10 pretty much. Back to who he was, but still same limitations.
Back to who he was. He used to be better than that. Ben Simmons. Wait, what team is he on now? Oh, yeah, here he is. 4. What do you have tonight? 4 points. 5 shots he took. It's so sad.
They get some dangerous guards, though. They do.
109, 105. They beat the Heat.
Be another big night for White and Holiday. And I will say it. We are on baby watch with White. So.
Oh, I thought you were going to say with you.
No, not me. Any day now. Could
as soon as you said baby watch, I was like, I looked up like, what? Jimmy knows what I'm talking about. I was like, whoa.
Derek White's on baby watch right now?
Yeah, he's supposed to be expected any day to be a part of it.
Don't get me started.
Don't tell Felger.
Don't get me started either.
Oh, if they do that again, like, remember the Al thing?
Jimmy's going to do it.
Felger introduced the term generic birth into our lexicon. He's like, if you just have a regular generic birth, play in the game,
Generic.
If everything is, you don't believe in skin to skin, a little father-child skin to skin, they say, is important for a child's development. Apparently,
in the beginning stages, the first moment.
The beginning stages, like while you're still in the hospital.
It's very important to Derek.
Let's do a former Celtics check. Thank you for this super chat. Important. Grant Williams, 25 points, 7 of 9 from 3.
Oh, damn.
Surprise, he's good. Don't get me started with this.
Malcolm Brogdon in the closing lineup for the Blazers as it came back from 10 points down to beat the Pistons. He was in the closing lineup there, 14 points in 25 minutes. Robert Williams, 19 minutes, 6 points, 3 blocks, a very Rob line, 8 rebounds, very Rob-ish. Marcus Smart, very Marcus Smart today. For those people who were checking out the box scores and be like, Marcus is scoring 25. 4 of 11 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3, 11 points, 6 assists, 4 steals, 5 turnovers. Welcome to the party.
That is literally
welcome to the Marcus Smart experience. I'm glad Memphis finally got an actual taste instead of this 25-point Marcus Smart version they were getting before.
I'll tell you what. I was texting you guys about it. The Memphis situation.
They're about to be what, 0-5?
Seems like it's only going to get worse. Even when they get back to full strength here, I just feel like there's something going on with that team. That's my take. Morant is Morant's a wild card, and not in a good way. So I'm concerned. If I'm a Grizzlies fan, I'm very concerned. Obviously, you should be. You're 0-5. You said they're 0-5 now, Bobby.
They're absolutely ravaged by injuries. So no Brandon Clark, Steven Adams is out for the year.
Right, but like they need to at least hold down the fort somewhat, right?
Those guys are missing a year.
Back. Well, Morant's not missing the year.
Yeah, most of it though, or a quarter.
Well, not most. I mean, he's out for now. Yeah, they're probably in trouble either way. But point is, if I'm Marcus Smart, I'm not loving my situation over there. I'm just not. So
No,
it's
you
gonna
put
take
on a
some
happy
time.
face and then you wait. But I mean, by the time Ja comes back, the season's over.
Right.
Not
you know,
necessarily over, but yeah, they're
they're
gonna be in a bad spot.
dude.
At
They're
this
going to be
point, I mean, at
10,
the rate
12
they're
games
going,
under 500 the way they're going.
Yeah, and then he's gonna have to work his way back in, and
Okay,
Smart's gonna have to figure out his role. It's
we're
gonna
going
be
to
tough.
close it with controversial candy
Well,
takes. Halloween
wait a
candy
second.
takes.
We got to talk about Harden for 2 seconds.
Oh, you want to talk Harden?
We did
Yeah, I wanna
candy
talk
yesterday. We did candy 2 days ago, John.
Oh, you did it?
No, we'll redo
Yeah.
it. We'll
No, that's fine.
rehash it. I want to
God,
get John and I want to get John's opinion.
It's my fault.
John's a candy guy. I mean, come on. He's a
I'm
pie
sick of
guy,
it
he's a candy
after
guy.
That was
yesterday.
such a John response.
I want everyone's
We
Harden's
did
take.
candy the last episode, John. Like,
Are Sixers
You should've
just out
been-
of it now?
Their team's shaky looking, and Celtics are gonna play them twice over the next couple
shaky
weeks
looking
here.
is a great way to put it.
Yeah.
For now, they are. I mean, we'll see what they do, but it's not good enough. It's not even a home court team right now.
No. But you can't waste
A
you can't-
non-threat. There's no threats to the Celtics. But they're clearly not one.
Well, Milwaukee's still a threat, but
Embiid
what,
is a
though?
challenge for Porzingis. I'll say
the
that.
thing, but here's the thing I want to ask.
Embiid's a challenge for everyone, Bobby.
But particularly Porzingis.
I know, but the entire Celtics team is a challenge for every other player on
But
Philadelphia.
isn't that why they have Al Horford, Bobby?
Yeah, that's the one advantage
We'll
they have.
see.
in
Is that the
mix.
game? Is that the game you
Sorry.
start him?
No.
So you're not gonna have him out
Honestly,
there.
Maybe. But are the
Is
Sixers
it possible
really
you
gonna
go
waste,
double big in that series? Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy. Though, what's
the
your
Sixers
reaction?
really going to waste a year of Embiid with this roster? That it can't be done, right?
No,
There's gotta be
they're gonna get
something else.
aggressive.
There's
Keep
got to be
hearing
something else
Levine.
coming.
Is he enough? I don't know.
I don't know if he's enough. I don't know.
It's a
Last
downgrade
year was
from
their
Harden.
year, man. That
No,
was
he's
their
not.
best
He's not a downgrade from Harden because Harden's slipping and Harden is inconsistent.
Harden's
No, I mean,
trash.
That being
compared to
said,
last year.
Harden was good for Embiid.
Yeah.
The on-off numbers when those two played together, Embiid's overall efficiency and his numbers.
I mean, they
went
had you
up,
3-2.
playing in the pick and roll. They did, but also they had you. They had the Celtics because Harden had two outlier games in one series. And I don't think that that's something that you can expect for him to do. That wasn't like how he'd played all year. To have two of those are the two best games he'd had all year or among them spread out over 80, and he had them in a 4-game stretch. So I just think they had that going for them there. But I don't think the way he was for them and the way Maxey has stepped up, if you can get someone like Levine or of that caliber, they're competitive again.
They'll be. And Maxey's going to have a great year now because he's got that opportunity. I'm going to say this about James Harden.
Oh, Maxey has been good. That's a good
He's
point.
been amazing.
As soon as James Harden leaves the NBA, the NBA will be better league. I don't know anyone who is a James Harden fan anymore. And if you're an NBA fan, you're trying to defend the NBA to people who aren't against guys like James Harden. The casual NBA fans or non-NBA fans hate the NBA exactly for the reasons like James Harden, because he picks and chooses when he wants to play. He forces his way out of teams. He's a bad apple, it seems like, in the locker room. And I can't imagine there's a single fan. Who is a James Harden fan at this point?
You're just giving ammunition to the Knicks of the world with
He's
guys like James
alienated
Harden, right?
all his fan base.
Spoiled NBA players.
Right.
I mean, the guy had the MVP.
Oh, the jealous
and they had the Celtics against the ropes. He had a chance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I just don't understand the whole, like, okay, you want to be traded and then you just check out completely. So, yeah, I'm with you, Jimmy. I mean, he's the greatest example of why people hate the NBA and the way it's run.
He's bad for the league now.
Player empowerment and all that. He's the prime example.
I don't think
he's bad for the league.
I never enjoyed anything about it because
He used to at least be fun to watch to some extent.
I hated watching him play because he was a cheat code. He drew fouls.
Yeah, but he was fun to watch in the sense of when the team was competitive, you were wondering could he pull it off. Like that year with Houston. Yeah. They had, the Warriors.
Houston loved them. They did.
Of course.
Yeah.
That might be where he has to finish his career because
I
can't
should have
imagine-
been.
Nah, he may not have that. I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's true.
What I struggle to understand with a guy like Harden is and maybe it doesn't matter. But like, Durant for so many years fought like legacy and like what people think of him, instead of just, doing whatever, but like it was on his mind. How is he going to be perceived? Like, does Harden not care at all that the
I don't think
only
he
thing
cares.
people will remember about him is this? Like, no one's going to be like, oh, remember a couple years he had like 35 points and he was unstoppable? Like, yeah, sure, it'll be talked about. But his legacy is this guy who forced a trade out of every single organization, showed up in fat suits, quit on teams. Everywhere he went, he was unhappy. Like, this is what people remember. This is the final act, and it's been going on for 4 or 5 years now. It's so sad. So I don't know. I don't care. I would agree when we don't have to like deal with it anymore. It's also sad to like make demands. At this point, it's just. But Jimmy's right. Like once he's not around, great.
Dude, it's gonna
we're
be
better.
Some people like you don't like some athletes you don't like to see go. I will show him. Anyone would show him the door at this point. He's just beyond. He's kind of miserable, to be completely honest. It doesn't seem like if I'm a Clipper player, I'm like kind of wondering what's next with this.
It's
team.
such a team.
He changes kind of everything.
It's
obviously.
such a team that
built by players.
That's built by players.
Wasn't it startling he left Brooklyn to go back to that too? I mean, what a situation he was in there.
Yeah.
I mean, even better than this one, you could argue.
Yeah. We should wrap. You've already had the candy convo, so we don't have to have it again.
No, give us your take. What's your
hot
take? We basically were talking about best and worst Halloween candies that you could get.
We mentioned the Neckos is worse, and what else?
Yeah, but what's the thing you like that nobody likes?
The thing I like that nobody likes? I don't know.
Amit had an interesting one, didn't he?
I don't know about nobody.
Amit loved yellow
guy.
Laffy Taffy, banana Laffy Taffy.
That is a weird one, yeah.
Right? Easily the worst flavor of the Laffy Taffies. Easy.
Yeah, my taste is pretty good, so I like a lot of the stuff that is
the good stuff.
Good
candy. The candy I eat that no one eats, it's not my favorite, but the one that I always pick off that nobody wants is the Whoppers.
I hate Whoppers.
Whoppers aren't bad.
Whopper away.
Whoppers
you know
aren't
why?
bad.
Because they're like melty. So you just put it in, you bite it, and you just like let it dissolve. Like, I kind of like that.
Oh, you don't crunch?
Most underrated. I feel like the most underrated candy is 100 grand bar.
Right there.
That's
oh my
exactly
god!
Yeah.
I didn't see you put that up there.
The most
Very
underrated by far.
That's the most
my daughters are so well trained. They go get me these and these.
Oh,
Almond
that's
Joy.
I forgot about Almond Joy. That's a good one.
Almond Joy is a boomer bar. Nobody under 40 eats Almond Joys.
I want coconut in everything now.
That's actually my dad's favorite candy.
Yeah, dude. Almond Joys, trash. Mounds, Almond Joys, trash.
I get those from my dad all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
my daughters hunt for these, and they're so well trained. They are.
What makes that great though? Is it the nougat? There's something in there. I feel like just binds it all together.
Caramel and like crunchy.
Chocolate and caramel is just like a elite combo.
It's like you stuffed a Nestle Crunch bar with caramel. Like
it's like an airy crisp with it.
That's a great way to describe it. Yeah.
Like Milky Way Midnights. That's something that you see once in a while in a bag that I like the dark chocolate.
Was it the dark chocolate? Oh, okay.
The Milky Way Midnight, yeah.
I don't understand. I've never quite gotten I don't mind them, but they're so artificially gross, like all the Laffy Taffies.
I hate them.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about them.
I would dodge all candy based ones and just focus on the chocolate.
Just on the chocolate?
Unless there's little Sour Patch Kids, which I can avoid.
Well, so
I'm big on that, and you know what, John? I mentioned how gummy bears. I love gummy bears, but that's not a Halloween for me. You don't get those.
I bought them. Haribo gummy bears for the kids. Yes.
You know what?
I love that.
Yep.
Kids love, because I was telling these guys last show. We have our house gave out the big stuff, like the big size
full bars.
Candy, full bars. Like there was a line down the street getting our.
Would you say your uncle had a canteen or no a vending machine company?
Vending machine company. So we would rate it and then we would bring it all back. But
4 packs
kids
of
love.
If
you give a kid a choice of something sour or something chocolatey, they're always going sour. Sour Patch Kids, Sour Punch straws. Swedish Fish, anything sour or like gummy. Kids, like I'm talking 15, like young kids, younger, like 10, 9, 8, whatever. Super sour stuff. It was not until you get older that you appreciate chocolate more.
Sprees are
No,
Sprees.
I liked chocolate then too, but I love the sour stuff. That's a legit drug for me. Like if I
Me
have one
too.
Sour Patch Kid, I will have
You can
700
have a
Sour
ton.
Patch Kids. Like
Yeah.
I can't have one.
And then
What
your
about
tongue hurts
Warheads?
later.
You like Warheads?
Well, I like the lemon heads and the Alexander the Grapes, those old ones that were like old school candies that are like
God.
crunchy sour too.
Lemon heads.
Yeah.
John likes the bottle pops that you bite off the wax and you like squeeze out the junk.
There
that
used to be
comes out of
something
it.
called Fun Dip. Did you guys ever have that?
Oh yeah, fun.
Yes,
It's like
with
a
the powder
sweet
and
tart.
the
You
white
just dip
stick.
it.
It's like a candy stick that you
Yeah.
dip in sugar and then eat the sugar. That's
Literally
like,
just
My
sugar.
mom hated it.
It's
She's
just like
"You're
a
just
bag
eating
of
sugar."
diabetes, is what it is. Like
it really is. Pixie sticks. It was just you pour
Pixie
sugar in your mouth.
Pixie
If
sticks.
They must have.
Pixie
they
sticks
must have
are
got rid
a
of those
gateway
because-
drug. Is
If
what
the
Pixie
world
sticks
were
are.
invented today, but we were born with the knowledge of how bad sugar is, not a single one of those things would ever have been invented. It's insane that we went through our lives with that.
I forgot about those. They must be banned
It's
now.
boomers, man.
There's a
Just
straw of
pouring
sugar.
sugar in your mouth
It's
through a
just-
straw.
Yeah, it's just like
After you slammed all your candy bars and all that, just pure sugar straight.
candy company was like, wait, why don't we just package the sugar? We don't even need to make anything out of this. Let's just package it. Save all the money. We don't need any other
Put some
ingredient.
color in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sugars would be flavored, so kids will love it.
It's literally just give them a bag of actual friggin' sugar.
That's it.
gross.
The
I think
most
Josue
hyper-
said he liked candy corn, which was a wild one.
Yeah,
Did
I
you
like
say
candy
that?
corn.
Yeah.
I don't get into
Now
those.
that's garbage.
I don't even talk to those people.
I mean, it's not like it's my favorite, but like, yeah, I'll have some candy corn. It's good.
I won't even look at candy corn. I won't sniff
Oh,
it.
wasn't
I won't
Jess
go near it.
Moran was the only person on the planet that liked those orange peanuts?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, did she?
Yeah.
She probably didn't want that news out there. That's
No, she would. When we
that's
would do when we did this
embarrassing
in
to
the,
like that.
I
when we
feel
did
like
this
I
in
liked it
NBC,
for like
that was it. Yeah.
when I was 7 for
Those
like
are
a couple times.
like the marshmallowy weird peanuts or whatever they were.
It's like
Circus
Some people
peanut?
give out
Circus peanuts?
like real peanut, like circus peanuts, which is a weird one. Got some weird stuff.
That's what it was. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, circus peanut. That's what it was called.
that's what the candy was called. But they were.
Oh,
fake.
okay. Yeah,
But it
yeah,
was like-
yeah.
I
Those
love
are
this.
trash.
This is my favorite comment.
Those are the
Nougat is
worst.
whack. Nobody
Nougat
knows
is
what
whack.
nougat is.
Nougat isn't whack. Nougat goes hand in hand with like milky,
Describe
like,
nougat. Go.
Three Musketeers is
What
nougat,
is it?
right?
Describe it.
It's
Describe
like,
nougat to a person.
Foam.
I can't.
Sweet chocolate foam or something.
Yeah, it is like. Am I thinking of the right thing? Nougat. It's the Three Musketeers. Isn't that
Nougat is
nougat in
whack.
it? Chocolate and nougat.
I never even heard of that one.
Three Musketeers.
Nougat is what goes in things, and you're like, what is that? And
Oh.
you're
You
like,
never
it's
heard of a
nougat,
Three
dude.
Musketeers bar?
It's like whipped chocolate.
Mars has nougat.
Yeah, it's something.
Ah.
It's not caramel. It's not fudge. It's some kind of.
It's this
hybrid.
white goo, and they call it nougat, but it's not a
Yeah.
real it's not a naturally occurring substance in the world. It's just a
Yeah,
bunch of
no, it's
chemicals that are
extremely
white. And we called
processed,
it
yeah.
nougat.
Yeah, it's picture every like chemical that
The
you can
commercials
imagine.
always made it sound amazing.
The
Oh my
FDA
God, it's
invented
got
it one
nougat.
day.
None of us
Yeah.
knew what it was.
Yeah, the writers knew what they were doing. Like, make sure you mention that nougat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad stuff. Okay.
Hold
We
on,
get
I
it.
just
Candy corn is trash.
Jimmy, you just reacted so strongly too.
I just Googled it and this is what came up.
There you go.
It's nougat.
Yeah, that's and we still don't know what it is. Like we're looking at pictures and
So then why did you defend it so bad?
there's a bunch. There's one
Dude,
with
you don't
nuts
you
in
go
it.
nougat's not whack. You just got
It's
so
not whack. I
defensive.
mean, it tastes fine.
But you can't even describe what it is.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff that I like that I can't describe. I mean, that's just because I'm an idiot, I guess. But yeah. I mean, describe Pop Rocks.
I don't
Go
like
ahead and
this.
describe Pop Rocks.
I
I
don't
mean,
like this.
every kid liked Pop Rocks. Every
Crystallized
kid
sugar.
I know
Yeah.
had
yeah.
Pop Rocks in the soda contraption and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Some people gave out soda at Halloween on my street. You
Can't
go
have
around,
Big
you get
League
a couple of your,
Chew.
like sugar. Why can't you have Big League Chew? I actually have
Because it
Big
loses
League Chew
flavor
downstairs
after-
right
Because
now.
I can't.
20
Because I swallow it. Because I can't chew it. It's so good. I have to swallow it.
Yeah, that's
Wait,
that's
what?
a problem.
It
It's
loses
so
flavor after like 20
luscious
seconds.
and juicy. It's impossible to not swallow.
Is it just
Yeah.
a myth that you're not supposed to swallow gum, or is that just something that just you like? I'm sure like if you swallow gum, you'll be fine. right, guys?
I swallowed so much gum. I have no idea.
Okay, so then you won't be fine if
So
you're
you won't be
Exhibit A.
fine.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
just a gum thing with you then. You just okay. I thought it was just it
No,
was
no,
big
no, no,
league true that was the only one that you like.
Well,
so
Specifically
much.
John's
Big League
incapable of chewing gum. He needs to eat the gum, apparently.
All right, bottom tier, bottom. So the one thing I just want to make sure everybody knows
Our
the
dork
bottom,
stops,
the
absolutely.
bottom tier, popular candy, which I avoid. I will not serve this to children because it's not fair. Is the Three Musketeers? Literally, no one wants Three Musketeers. It's 100% nougat. It's
Time out,
nobody.
dude. I disagree. It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
It's the worst of the big ones.
I actually had a friend.
It's the worst popular one by
One of my
far.
neighbors growing up.
It's
that
probably
was
the
her
worst
favorite.
popular one.
That was her favorite one. I thought
When
it was
you've
weird.
got the Snickers, the Milky Ways, the Reese's, and
Yeah,
Three
yeah, no,
Musketeers
those
somehow
murdered
jumped
it.
into that circle. Like, no,
Three
no,
Musketeers
sir.
is like the ugly friend that's
Yeah.
just like
Okay.
hanging on.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's like when you get the.
Three
That's when
Musketeers
like
is
you have to
fringe
start
guy.
Jay Crowder or PJ Tucker. You know, like that's your Three Musketeers.
Come
You know,
on.
the rest of your lineup's
You
great.
didn't need to bring Jay Crowder into this.
It's like when you get that the mixed bag of the minis, and then that last one is usually the Three Musketeers. You're like, why is that one?
Three
of
Musketeers
Yeah.
is fringe guy. Like he's never really invited, but he's always kind of there,
Yeah.
and you just kind of let him hang around.
Pretty much.
I've never I can't. I don't even know what it's fluffy whipped nougat. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'll don't get me wrong. I'll have like a mini here and there if it's just kind of sitting there. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Bobby must have had a wildly controversial opinion, right?
No, me and him are
Not
pretty.
really.
Right down the middle.
I'm a
huh?
big candy guy.
Yeah, what was it? Kit Kats and what else?
You like Reese's or Reese's. It's actually Reese's. A lot of people think it's Reese's, including me for like 33 years of my life. And then somebody was like, no, it's Reese's. And then I was like, no, it's Reese's. And then sure enough, it is Reese's. It's spelled Reese's and it's Reese's Pieces. People go around saying Reese's Pieces. It's actually not that. Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah, you can swallow gum.
John doesn't care.
You won't die if you have Pop Rocks and soda.
You won't?
No.
But I wouldn't try it.
You guys,
Wait,
I don't know
does
if
it stay
you're old enough to
just for
remember
7 years?
the Mikey from Life cereal died drinking
Hey,
soda
Mikey.
and Pop Rocks. That was
He
the,
likes
that
it,
was
Hey,
the urban
Mikey?
myth for years. Yeah.
I remember that.
Hey, Mikey, he likes it. The myth was that he died chugging soda and Pop Rocks and it exploded in his throat. That was the urban legend for years, and people believed it. Before Google, like, how would you know? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Mikey
that
might
was
be dead.
Before
That's
Google,
true. That is
you had
true.
no
How
idea.
would-
Just believed
How do
it.
you
would
know?
it's not like
Mikey
you're
would
gonna
just
hear
have to
from him.
show up and be like, "I'm not dead, dudes."
Yeah, the dude just like his contract ran up and everyone's like, no, he died. He's dead. Yeah, really sad
died.
actually. Soda
He
and
died
Pop
in a
Rocks.
candy accident.
Yeah,
Yeah, it turns into fact. That's what happened.
really, really sad how it happened. You know what also sucks? Black licorice.
Yeah.
I've never really gotten that as a Halloween candy, but licorice you get, and licorice is kind of just boring.
Well, people used to love Twizzlers. I mean, like, I never got into it.
Flavorless.
I
It's
like
just
Twizzlers.
plastic.
I just don't really want it in my.
Make
yeah,
it
what is
taste
it?
like something.
Again, yeah. I don't mind.
Twizzlers
I don't
are
mind.
insultingly bad.
Twizzlers pull and peel is very good.
Insultingly bad.
They are.
Twizzlers pull
Well, because it was so
and peel is very
overhyped.
good.
It's like, what are you guys like? What's so great about this?
Insultingly
John, you got a
bad.
favorite candy?
Favorite?
Yeah, favorite.
I don't
know-
like these. I don't like any of these anymore because like our tastes have evolved. Like I eat like delicious,
Okay, well,
expensive chocolate. So when I eat one of these things,
ooh,
meaning like you've
excuse us, guys.
you've eaten real stuff now, right? Like this just tastes like
delicious,
It tastes like sugar. Even if you have
90% dark chocolate.
No, I don't even like that. But even if you eat like just a good bar of chocolate, it's so hard to go back and have like one of these things. They taste like garbage.
Dude, you're like the craft beer guy, aren't you? Like,
No,
you
I
can't-
drink-
You
dude,
can't enjoy a Miller Lite, can you?
I pound Miller High Lifes like 40 at a time. I don't drink IPAs. I'm just
High Life.
saying.
Sounds
and
like you do,
underrated brew.
Mr. Godiva.
The problem is these don't taste like chocolate. They taste like sugar. That's the problem. They don't have enough chocolate flavor, these candy bars. They just taste like pure sugar to me. I just feel like I'm eating sugar.
Okay.
Yeah,
You need-
that's
you
why.
You need something that's like more rich.
Just taste. Yeah, exactly. Once your taste is more refined, this stuff is like, oh my God. Like any of the old like Keebler, Pepperidge Farm sort of cookies that you ate as a kid. Like now that you've had like a real cookie from a bakery, you go and eat one of those and you're like, this is disgusting. Like it's not, it doesn't taste like actual food.
My buddy thinks Twix
It's
is the
just
best
this
candy.
gross processed. Everything is just
everything's processed that we're talking
so
about.
But when you're a
gross.
kid, you don't know what grade is.
Yeah. When you're a kid, listen. Yesterday is a cheat day for everybody, but you shouldn't really. Your diet shouldn't revolve around this candy. That being said, Twix is another popular one that kind of gets mixed in with the Snickers and the Milky Ways and the Reese's and all that stuff. A lot of people like Twix.
Yeah.
But
Mikey,
M&M's.
we got Mikey from life. He went out on rocks, man.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's like that's facts.
Yeah, that shit's real.
Would you do Skittles, John? Because that's kind of sour.
It's not bad, but it just
They
pure.
have the
Gets
sour
me
Skittles
sick.
too.
Yeah.
Sour Skittles are legit.
That was a game changer when they dropped.
That was a game changer.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging for Candy Talk. I know you guys already did.
We got
this the other day.
1,500 strong for Candy Talk right now.
I know. We didn't lose that many.
I was gonna say, I think we lost some.
We lost a couple hundred.
You lost
Somebody
me.
said,
couple hundred health nuts out there.
look at this guy. Hey, Jimmy, no one cares about your opinion.
This
Oh,
is
really?
legitimately.
Then get off our freaking show.
This is an insane point of view here. This person.
Try
This is-
Dutch salt licorice. I don't
This is
even know what that is.
Dangerous
It
thinking
sounds
right there.
horrible. What the hell is it? Salt licorice.
I'll answer this one. Waffles last.
Look at Dirk. Dirk is actually doubling down on the licorice take here. Black licorice, double salted. I guess you
Double
gotta salt
salted.
your licorice. I didn't know. Who knew? You
I'm
gotta salt
good.
your licorice. Somebody said almond joy, trash, absolutely trash. Baby Ruth, that's fine, I guess.
We'll get into the pie talk for Thanksgiving.
Twizzlers. Yeah, Pie Talk is next. Hey, guys. Soon as, you know what, though? I know John's a big Thanksgiving guy. I forget if you guys are or not. I skip right over Thanksgiving. I go straight to Christmas. I say Merry Christmas starting today.
That's it, huh?
What are
I
you,
go
Dunkin'
2 months
Donuts?
around.
They already came out with the
As they
Christmas
should.
cups.
As they should. Thanksgiving gets one day for me. Thanksgiving. That's the day it gets for me.
I think everyone does the same.
I'm Christmas from now. I'm buying a big Christmas tree this year too.
I was gonna say, well, you got the tree up already?
Not yet, but I'm a real Christmas tree guy. I don't do the fake stuff, so I can't buy one yet, or else it'll be dead for Christmas. But I plan on buying a good sized Christmas tree this year.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Gummy bears, somebody said.
Chuckles, that's old school. Holy crap.
Chuckles is Oh, we talked about was it Dots?
Yeah, I brought up
is
Dots.
trash. You brought up Dots. Is that where you peel it off the paper?
Yeah.
No, but I forgot about that.
No,
Dots
that is Dots.
No,
That's
Dots is the one
You're
that,
thinking of the gummy Dots, but there's also the ones on the paper. What were those called?
right. I'm thinking the gummy ones, but there was
Paper
that.
Dots. Those are garbage.
Yeah, you have
Also
paper on the other
garbage.
side.
You can't eat those without eating paper. Somebody's saying Jolly Ranchers. Dude, we're not like 80-year-old people trying to just suck on a Jolly Rancher for 2 hours. Those will give you cavities too, because you know what it is. You bite into them, and then they get stuck to your teeth.
Yeah. Poor
You guys
Bobby.
used to have now and laters? Or is that
Bye,
just-
Bobby.
Now and laters are good.
Yeah,
I like
now
now
and
and
laters
laters, but yeah, that'll rip your teeth out too. You know what? I also want to give a shout out to Rolos.
And Milk
Rollers are
Duds.
good.
Yeah, Rolos love
I don't
that
like
stuff.
Milk Duds. Milk Duds.
Rolos are better. What we didn't mention and underrated, you don't find them in miniature form very much.
Peppermint
I don't-
patties.
I actually think they discontinued making them. Hold on.
Peppermint patties are awesome.
Score.
Oh, I don't know.
Score. I remember those. That's
so
like the four.
there's Heath Bar. No, that's Toffee.
Four. Score had four. It had like
No,
peanut
Score
butter,
is just
vanilla,
toffee.
chocolate. No.
Score is just Toffee. There's Heath Bar, and then there was Score. Score was better. Score was
No,
Score was damn
Score
good.
bar.
Yes.
I'm thinking of Clark.
Dude, what's the one
Clark
we're
was
at?
like a
Oh,
Butterfingers.
you're right.
Okay. The only reason
John.
I know that's because of
John's right.
random
Score
movies
is
like Pursuit of Happiness that took place back then.
Yeah.
There was an old candy bar that I can't remember the name. I'm not going to talk about it, but it was like 4 pieces. One had chocolate in it, one had caramel, one had like vanilla, and one had I don't even know what it was. But I don't really see that.
I know what you're talking about. I know
what
it
it's
was
called?
in a yellow. It was in a yellow
wrapper.
Yeah, no, I have it.
It's not
but
Score, obviously.
I know. No, I know what it is. I can picture it. I just can't remember the name. We'll find it out.
It's gonna kill me.
I don't Google, so I'm just gonna think about it for the next 2 years until I get
You don't Google Hardo.
No, it's a fun challenge, you know.
Yeah.
God, that's
Really
gonna drive me nuts for a while though.
It's a one word, I think. I mean, it's one syllable, I think.
Bobby, what do you think it is?
Bobby is like writing an article right now. He is completely checked out. He's
I'm
transcribing.
dying right now. Bobby looks so like uninterested.
Yeah,
Disinterested, I should
I'm
say.
on the Thanksgiving.
All right.
It's Bill Belichick here. We're on to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, on to Thanksgiving.
All right, later, guys. Thanks for watching. Saturday,
Bye,
Brooklyn.
guys.
We're back. Bobby and
Josue
Josue
and I will be
down
there.
Yep.
Wow.
So we'll
I should have went.
we'll get some live reaction. I should too. I keep saying I'm going to go to one of these New York games, just hang out in New
Let's
York.
go
for
to
the
a
weekend.
Knicks game, John.
Okay.
Madison
You
Square
guys want
Garden.
to do the man on the street next time?
Yes.
We would
John
crush it.
doing man on the street would be dope. Yes.
I watched it. Mrs. New York Knicks almost took a swing at Josue.
Yo, Mrs. New York Knicks was.
No, I'm not. You guys are better at that stuff than I am.
And if that was her husband, you could tell he knew what you were like. You were inching for it, dude. Like you were close.
Well, no, you could tell.
He was hiding behind her.
He clearly wore the pants in that relationship, but.
Oh yeah, he was
That's for
hiding behind her. He was
another
like, nope.
time. That's for
I
another
know.
time.
He was like, I know that tone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna step aside and let.
Yeah,
this
because he
interview
knew if he
happen.
steps in, it'd be worse for him, I guess.
Junior mints. Thank you. Somebody said junior mints. I love junior mints. I said peppermint patties. But
Oh,
junior mints is legit.
I'm. See, that's the thing with me, man. When it comes to chocolate and mint, no, that's just not. That's a no.
Oh, I like the
Thank you.
combination. I like mint chocolate chip ice cream is right up there for me. So, yeah.
Candy cigarettes. Anybody remember those?
You know what I love that you don't really see? Raisinets. You don't see Raisinets at Halloween. You
You
should.
love those?
You do. I love Raisinets. I love raisins and I love chocolate. You mix the two, awesome.
How about Mallow cups?
No.
It was basically a Reese's with marshmallow.
Forgot about Rolos.
Yeah, I'm not big on the marshmallow candy stuff.
I thought they were gross.
They are.
It was just O. Henry was a great one back in the
No.
day.
Nope.
Gobstoppers? Nobody?
No.
Gobstoppers.
Those
Remember
suck.
those?
What do you do with those? They're too hard to chew. Like
They're-
they just kind of sit in your mouth.
They gotta
Totally
dissolve.
pointless.
Suck. Bobby, closing thoughts on this one?
Andy?
No, we'll finish it with the Celtics. Final thought. That. Make it worth.
brilliant.
Make
I
it worth
mean,
your while for staying on.
Yeah, it's they're brilliant right now. There's really not a ton to say. It's just clicking so fast, so much cohesion right off the bat. They're playing the way they want to offensively too. I'm just blown away by the post ups. I really am. I wasn't sure we'd see a big boost in them, but they are all in.
That's the one, John.
All in on it, and it's been super effective. It's been refreshing, and it's made them all the more effective. So they can only get better, right? With more time, more cohesion, and more games under their belt. So it's scary to see what they're going to be capable of when they get 15, 20 games in, as long as they're healthy, of course. And then if they're not, that's going to be the real concern. But otherwise, you're not seeing many questions or issues emerge in these early games. And we'll see some other matchups and stuff. Philly will be interesting. Brooklyn might be able to challenge them in certain types of ways. But these first 4 teams really haven't been able to outside the Knicks and the Heat a little bit.
It was Sky Bar.
Well, that's the name of it?
Yeah,
You
I
found
was
it?
gonna ask, Josh. That is.
that's the one. Sky Bar.
Sky Bar. Yellow
Yeah.
wrapper. What were the 4 sections?
They didn't say, but I know it was chocolate, vanilla, caramel, and there's one other. Maybe
Now that you've said it,
peanut
I'm
butter.
Googling
Peanut
it.
butter. Chocolate, peanut butter, caramel, and I think vanilla. Also, Bobby faxed my dog. I agree.
I just sent it to one of my friends before you texted it. I texted one of my one of my boomer chains. I go candy
Yeah.
from our childhood, yellow wrapper. It was chocolate. I said in 4 sections.
Yeah.
Caramel, vanilla, or something and something, and he wrote back instantly. Sky bar, only
Sky
3
bar. That's
Sky
it.
bar, only 3 sections. I was
Dude,
like,
the
holy
chat
crap.
for some reason tonight, the chat I'm getting the chat, at least on my end, like way late. So I'm just seeing the comments coming in right now saying Sky bar. So if the chat was chat is like our Google.
Man, he nailed that one quick. Sky bars.
Sky bar.
It was 4.
It was
Yeah.
right there. Sky bar.
Good
That was a
work.
good one. That was a good one.
That's a good one.
You won't see those.
All right, let Bobby out of this hell. We pulled him into this.
Yeah.
All right. Good
Yeah,
night,
yeah.
guys. They still got.
bedtime.
He has actual work to do after this. So let's go.
Yeah, I have to go
All
to
right.
bed, man.
Later, guys.
Bye.
Good night, all. Thank you for
Good
watching.
night.